let's take a look at the target. If we do this and do this, then we can see that the target in this case would be approximately down at $33,000.
That's rough. BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto assets. If you like money and you like crypto, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So close to 1 million, I can feel that Bitcoin I'm giving away coming out of my portfolio. Guys, today I brought on Carl from the moon, and we're going to discuss Elon Musk manipulating Bitcoin. We're going to figure out whether or not he is actually causing the technicals to align with the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Now, if you want to take advantage of any of the information in today's video by leverage trading, you can do that by visiting bitboycrypto.com/deals. Scroll down to our top deals at the top of the page, and you can sign up for Bybit or Femex if you need a VPN. You can get that done too. Femex is actually having a special $2,000 deposit bonus going on right now. Of course, Bybit is having their biggest deposit bonus ever, $1,610. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Hey, everybody, today, on a very dark and dreary day, I'm joined by Carl from the moon on YouTube. Don't forget to go subscribe to his channel. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Bitcoin today as we had a dramatic drop last night. And then, we're trying to see what's going to happen from here. But first and foremost, Carl, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well. Even though prices are going down, I think that we still have reason to be happy. I mean, we're still way above the prices we were like 1 year ago.
Yeah.
But we will see corrections, and sometimes these corrections could be hard to predict, because when the world's richest man comes out on Twitter and makes a tweet like this, it's hard to predict that, right? But we can do our best with the technicals, because we're gonna take a look at that in a minute, because you could actually see this coming kind of in the technicals. But yeah, Elon Musk is hard to predict.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I kind of want to talk about today. Like, where is the line between technicals and then fundamentals? And technicals, if for people that are newer, just mean everything on the chart. Fundamentals means anything off of the chart. So really want to know your opinion on how those things merge together, and we can get into that. But like Elon Musk, we loved him when he pumped Bitcoin, when he bought, when Tesla made the buy, we loved it. But, we certainly don't love it when he manipulates on the way down. And he's been accused by the SEC of manipulation for Tesla and all kinds of stuff. So he's got a pretty strong track record of this. He knows what he's doing. But let's just take a pause right here. Let's jump over to the Bitcoin chart, show us some stuff you're looking at, and then we're going to get into the larger conversation of, could the technicals actually predict something like this?
Yeah. There is this famous saying, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. And we can talk more about that after the technicals.
Right.
So yeah, let's get into the charts. All right. So here we are on the Bitcoin 1 hour time frame. And what we see here is this beautiful rising wedge. And this wedge is something that I was actually tweeting about, and I was talking about over on my channel. And I basically told my audience that some type of big move is going to come. And obviously a rising wedge is a bearish pattern, but all bearish patterns, they can break to the upside. So it's not guaranteed that it's going to break down, but it is slightly likelier that a rising wedge breaks down rather than up. And we broke to the downside, and the target out of a wedge is the bottom of the wedge. And the bottom in this case was approximately 48,000. And you can see here that the Bitcoin price came down exactly down to this bearish target that I had in mind here. So that's the history. That's what happened. The question is, are we going to go lower here, or are we going to get a bounce from here? And so yeah, I mean, right off the bat, you can see here that yes, there was a tweet made here and everything, but Bitcoin was maybe destined to get a dump. Regardless, maybe it wouldn't have been this severe, but you can see that we broke a rising wedge, and that was bearish. Basically, that was bearish. I actually made a video earlier yesterday before the dump where I said that Well, the title of the video was Bitcoin is in danger right now. And then I didn't know that the danger was Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Later we saw that, yeah, that was the danger. But okay, so let me go over to this chart, because now we want to look into the future, not only look at the past, right? So this is the 4 hour time frame for Bitcoin, and you can clearly see a head and shoulders pattern here. We have shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. uh, Beautiful. And then we have a neckline here. And before I talk about the target, which is a bearish target, obviously, I want to tell people that, I mean, I hate to be the bringer of like bearish news and stuff, but I always want to make sure that we're objective, and that we look at all the facts. We cannot always sit here and pray for fairy tales and unicorns all the time. We have to, if there is something in the chart that looks bearish, we have to address it. At least I feel like that's important, right? So first of all, it's not guaranteed that it's going to play out, because a head and shoulders pattern um, is only bearish if it actually breaks the neckline. We can still go up like this. However, if we break the neckline, that's when this pattern is confirmed, if volume also confirms the breakdown. And in that case, we have to entertain the idea that we are going to go much lower here. So let's take a look at the target. If we do this and do this, then we can see that the target in this case would be approximately down at $33,000.
That's rough.
So yeah, this could happen. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but this literally is a scenario that just became much more likely. Um, because we saw this dump here. This dump kind of gives this head and shoulders a lot of credibility, because we're seeing a beautiful pattern like this. So this could mean that from where we are right now, Bitcoin could go down another like 33%, 34%. And yeah, that would be bearish. That's obviously not something that anyone is hoping for. But anytime Bitcoin goes down, it's a time to buy the dip, guys. So I think that it's an opportunity to buy Bitcoin for cheap if it happens. But once again, I'm not saying it is going to happen, but we have seen a few bearish signs in the past few weeks. For example, this bull run has been kind of rolling over a little bit here, as you can see here.
Mhm.
And if
Oh,
we bring out the, let's go to the daily actually. And over on the daily, I'm going to bring up the RSI. And here you can see that we've seen a bearish divergence. These highs have been higher, but the highs have been lower in the RSI on the daily. This is generally a bad sign. And I've been talking about this for actually even a few months now on my channel, that the bull run is still intact. We're still, like, the trend is your friend. However, this bearish divergence tendency is a sign that the bulls are losing momentum. And usually, based on my analysis, what this usually indicates is that we are very, very likely to enter into at least consolidation, where we go sideways before potentially picking back momentum up to this upside. But it can also mean that we could go lower like this. So out of three scenarios, I mean, Bitcoin can always go up, it can go sideways, and it can go down. In my opinion, the scenario where we go up here is not very likely. The two more likely scenarios is that we go sideways or to the downside, based on the bearish divergences. And everyone who's part of my like 400,000 subscribers know that whenever I see these bearish divergences or bullish divergences, um, I'm very often quite accurate in predicting these consolidation phases. So this is kind of my analysis right now. Sadly, it's not very bullish, but then again, nothing can be bullish forever. We know that Bitcoin is going to go to 300,000 in the next like 1 year. I still believe that. I really truly believe that 200 to 300,000 is going to happen very soon, but it's not going to happen overnight. We can get a consolidation. We can get a correction before that happens. In fact, I even always said it, even back here, I said, before we reach 100,000, we are very likely to experience a big correction. And I'm talking about 40, 50%, maybe even 60%, but at least 40, 50%. And so far from the top here, we only saw 29% there. This correction was only 23% or so. You can see that
Well,
it never.
the 29% one is the biggest correction we've seen so far.
Yep, yep, yep. And essentially, I would say that it is possible that we could go down lower. And this head and shoulders is something I'm watching. And I told my audience earlier today that if this breaks the neckline, then I am indeed going to short this. I'm going to make a short position, and I'm going to try to make some money, even though Bitcoin is going down, which is something we can do, right? Because if you're trading, it goes up or down, doesn't really matter. You can make money. But my long-term holdings, I will always hold. That's not going to change.
Absolutely. So I think, there's a very good chance we consolidate that could be great time for altcoins. If Bitcoin were to go sideways, obviously if Bitcoin goes down, the whole market is going to get murdered. So, out of those two likely scenarios, we should certainly be pulling for sideways action, especially because really all the stuff that came out yesterday from Elon Musk, it's actually really bullish for other chains that are not using as much energy as Bitcoin, like Ethereum as it switches to proof of stake, or like Cardano. But let's talk about real quick, Carl, just to kind of finish this video up, like the technicals here could have possibly predicted Elon Musk coming out with this jaw-dropping news, kind of like it didn't happen in January when he came out at the end of the month or beginning of February, he came out and said that, Tesla had bought Bitcoin. What is the relationship between these kinds of news stories and the technicals?
So, like I said, this famous saying goes that, yeah, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. I don't remember who said it, but it's a very famous quote. And as a technical analysis or analyst, I generally agree with that. Very, very often, I'm able to seemingly predict the future and predict news by looking at patterns, looking at indicators, and very often it's almost like an eerie thing. It's like a scary, weird thing
Yeah.
where like the universe has these patterns
Uh-huh.
lining up with news. I think we all kind of have seen this before. It seems like projects, they launch big news at the end of a triangle, or like something bad happens over here right at the bottom of this wedge, And I don't want to sound too crazy, but I think that definitely technicals are much easier to trade than fundamentals or news. But when it comes to Elon Musk, he just has so much power. One little tweet like this, and I mean, he is the richest man in the world. He's one of the most influential people in the world by far. He's one of the most famous people in the world. He is extremely important. And one little tweet from him, a small little innocent tweet, right, where he's saying something like this, um, shakes the market. You can see exactly at the point where he tweeted, we started to see a dump.
Yep.
So I think it's obvious that his tweet had a huge impact on the price. The big question becomes, why did he do this?
Yeah.
Is he manipulating the price, and is he doing this deliberately? I mean, he must know that when he tweets something like this, the
Yeah.
price is going to
Correct.
dump. And
Yeah.
I mean, if I knew that something like this is going to happen, of course, I would like to short the price. The question is he shorting, or is he selling, or is he playing the market? Is he manipulating it? And I don't know, but like it's starting to it's looking a little bit fishy, to be honest.
Well, you become the richest, most powerful man on earth. And what more do you really have to achieve as far as finances go, right? I don't think he's shorting the market. I don't think he's making money on Dogecoin. I think he just likes this game. I think it's all a game to him. I think he likes to have fun. I think he likes to prove that he can move the market. He's proud of that. And he's messing with the SEC, he's messing with regulators. It's kind of a game of catch me if you can. And that's what I think is going on. I definitely think that he knew what he was going to do yesterday with that tweet. So, Carl, thank you so much for coming on today, showing us this technical analysis, and also, having this discussion about the power of Elon Musk. I think it is very concerning for sure. So, Carl, anything you want to leave us with today?
Yeah, I want to end on a bullish note because I hate being bearish. It's not nice because I love Bitcoin. And in the short term, we could see correction, and we already saw a correction. But guys, Bitcoin is going. I think we have only seen the half of the bull market. We're
Mhm.
going maybe into consolidation here, but I think the Bitcoin price is going to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I think we're gonna see the next leg up. It's going to start within the next 3 4 months probably, and then it's going to be extremely explosive. That's when we're going to see Bitcoin go um, from like one place $100,000 up in maybe like a month or two. Like it's we're going to see these
Yeah.
huge steps up, and that's when we're going to see this like $10,000 daily candles, $50,000 daily candles, stuff like this.
Yeah.
I think this is coming. So don't be all too sad and bearish. If you're a holder, just hold and buy the dip. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what I would say.
Very simple. And I agree 100% with what you said. Like, we certainly don't like coming on here and you guys a forecast. But if we were to look at this chart here and just pretend it wasn't Bitcoin and all we were looking at was candles, this is the exact analysis you would get. And that's, that's the honesty that you get from Carl. Don't forget to go subscribe to his channel, The Moon, on YouTube. Link will be down below in the description. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, drop your comments down below and let us know where you think Bitcoin is heading to and whether or not you think Elon Musk has too much power. Well, that's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.